But on top of the many twists and turns in this race, now another one. Tom, this debate was over just a couple of days, and I'm sure that was an issue that struck a chord with you as well. Tansky's aunt told YNN she had only been in New Orleans for 2 months. But storm surge, that's always going to be an issue. In fact, that storm surge is expected to bring waves crashing off Lake Ontario, which is where Cara Thomas is. Thousands of people across the state have been affected by the virus, sparking action from Governor Cuomo. We have been mourning alongside the community of Newtown, and many are across the country. That tent being a representation, as long as they have their voices, it seems, this protest could keep going.
Very cool actually today, so still a chance for you to come out and get your fried fix or maybe even enjoy the sunset on the Ferris wheel. It doesn't get much better than that.
So he has both of those lines, so we could see them both face off again come November. But we do know that one person has died. Police are investigating this as a homicide currently. The second was actually a student saying what weapons they could use in a school shooting, alleging that the Senate's meetings leading up to the passage of this bill violated open meetings laws. The athletic director also thanked all the districts who had shown so much support in the past few days. In fact, the only light that we can see right now is the Price Chopper light. Price Chopper is actually the sponsor of the Capitol Holiday Lights here in Washington Park.
Now I know where I can go if TV doesn't work out.
You actually have a greater chance of being crushed to death by a vending machine when you shake it to try to get your snack out than actually winning this Powerball jackpot.
Student athletes showed their support by coming to the vigil in their team colors. Our innae.park has more on how the teens put aside their rivalries to remember the crash victims. Innae?
Okay, well, it was certainly a message of hope tonight, because when you looked out at this vigil, there was a sea of green and blue, which you might have expected, of course, but also red, orange, silver, and so many other colors. Crowds of students came to express their sympathies, care, and continued support for the Plainsmen.
Suddenly, we felt as we were getting a giant hug from schools that we compete so fiercely against.
Enveloped by an entire community, the many mourning Chris Stewart and Deanna Rivers knew they were not alone.
We heard from schools all across the Capital District that prayers were being offered and that everyone was thinking of us.
And to see our biggest enemies in any sports or anything wearing our colors and saying stuff like that.
We're all here supporting everyone.
Thousands packed the stadium to stand alongside Shenendehowa and Shaker, putting competition aside.
It's like a typical thing for sports to have rivalries, but I think now it's like, it's not just that. I think it's like we're all a community, and even though we go to different schools, like we're all part of the same community.
We're trying to come together as one because this basically brought everybody together in the 518.
And even beyond.
We know that these schools would be there for us if it happened at our school, and it's just a horrific tragedy that happened, and we're just trying to be here for them.
We owe a debt of gratitude to all those schools who helped us pull through this.
And the many students I spoke to said that they will continue to support Shen and Shaker in this difficult time. Now, in another gesture of remembering Chris Stewart and Deanna Rivers, the Shen Athletic Department announced that they will be retiring their numbers, 69 for Stewart and 19 for Rivers. Kate, back to you.
All right, we thank you for that report. Our innae.park reporting for us tonight.
It looks like an ordinary get-together, a block party. But on National Night Out, the Hillside North or North Central community in Troy has a strong message.
Let's stop the violence right now.
Unfortunately, this neighborhood has one too many reminders of such violence, including this memorial for Philip McMillan, who was killed in a shooting earlier this year. It was a drive-by shooting that took the life of the 17-year-old on 9th Street in March, a tragedy that became all too familiar.
We've actually had a shooting on each one of our streets this year. It's definitely calmed down now. I think they've realized, like, we're talking to the cops.
That's one of the neighborhood group's goals, to keep the communication and comfort with law enforcement constant. It starts early.
I like them.
You like police good? I like the police too.
With exposure to their local officers.
Giving them a different perspective so that when they grow up, it gives them incentive to want to become a police officer, firefighter, or sheriff, or work in the jails instead of being behind the bars.
But the adults are being called on too.
We wanted our neighbors to get to know each other. That way, you're noticing like people that don't belong up here.
And it's not coming from the people within the community, it's coming from outside the community, but it's happening in our neighborhood. So there's got to be some type of social change from where they're hanging out.
And despite a rough year of violence, the neighborhood is ready to see change.
That's such a small percentage of what really happens in these neighborhoods, and it's important to showcase all the good here.
Let's do it.
Reporting in Troy, innae.park, YNN.
Didn't expect it, I really didn't.
Dismay turns into disbelief, then delight, as more than 24 bikes are stolen from Koinonia Christian Center in Schenectady less than 2 weeks ago. Now, 20 stand in their place as word of the burglary aired and donations began coming in.
And I'm all about the kids. Anything having to do with kids, that's kind of pulls at my heartstrings because my grandkids are in Florida and not even here.
God bless YNN and Pastor Ted for what you're all doing for these kids. When I saw your story, it was heartfelt.
Senior Pastor Ted Ward's goal is to make sure kids have bicycles, and his ministry focuses on providing them or repairing the ones kids already have.
These kids use their bicycles as not only just activities where they're going, so they use it for transportation, and they use it for just fun to let some energy out.
These two-wheeled treasures will be given out this fall at the ministry's annual event, Schenectady Wild Jamboree. This year, the Sheriff's Office will even be giving out free helmets, but there's one element still missing. Now, once the kids get the bikes, it's possible that they could be stolen. So Koinonia is now thinking of accepting donations of locks so that kids don't have to worry about losing their gift.
Kids they love bikes, and these are really good bikes for them. And I just pray that they're happy and that it does some good for some people.
As for those who stole the original bicycles, they're still out there, but the pastor's message to them is a unique one.
We hope that, they have a heart that what they have, they would share it.
Reporting in Schenectady, innae.park, YNN.